Saturday, February 17, 2024. This is Rick with the Mercedes Diesel Guy channel, and I'm inside my 2002 Mercedes ML320 project. Uh, I've tried 10, 15 times to film this, and I'm having a lot of trouble filming this video. I'm not doing any work in this video. Just kind of need to talk about how things are now. I've had a lot getting in the way of me working on the car. A lot of it's been weather. It's been too cold, too much snow on the ground. I've had weekends where it was completely raining. And the worst part about that is I've had days during the week when I'm working my day job, where the weather's just been beautiful. I mean, in the 60s, sunny, dry, and there I am locked up inside the house. And then the weekend comes, and it's either too cold or it's raining hard all weekend, or there's snow or ice. So I've had a number of weekends where I've completely lost to the weather. So there's been that since the beginning of the year. Then there's some other stuff on the personal front, which has not been easy to deal with. Um, End of January, I think second to last week, my mother-in-law passed, and it wasn't entirely unexpected. But my wife had to go, be with her family and plan the funeral, and then a few days later, I drove up there with the boys, and we were there for the funeral. We got back on Monday of the following week. So Tuesday I'm back to work, and then Tuesday night I get a call from my mother. Apparently my father was admitted to the hospital, and which had happened a few times in the past few years, but the tone of the conversation was different. It was much more serious. So I called Wednesday for an update. No change. Things were stable. Thursday morning, I start getting text messages while I'm in a meeting at work, basically saying that I need to get home. And I am in rural southern Tennessee. So it's a couple of hours to the airport. And I didn't know if that was the best way to go, but here I wanted to be as much in control of the situation as I could. So I didn't even look at flights, because who knows what flights were available. I just decided to pack a bag, get in my car, and drive. So by 10 a.m., I was in the Volvo, and I'm on the highway. 80 miles up the road, the alternator starts failing on me, and I'd had zero trouble with it previously, so I had to pull over, find an auto parts store, find a voltage regulator, and then change that out in a parking lot, and I lost a few hours there. Would have taken a lot longer to change out the whole alternator, because on the Volvo there, it's buried under the power steering pump, so I would have had to release the tensioner, get the serpentine belt off, get the power steering pump out of the way, possibly get the radiator out of the way. There's just a lot in the way there, and there's just not a lot of room to work, and the engine was hot from having been on the highway, so I opted just to take a chance on the voltage regulator and got that in a lot quicker than I could have done the alternator. Got back on the highway. Normally with a critical repair like that, I like to drive it locally a bit just to make sure everything's fine, but I just had to get right on the highway. Car got me to New Jersey without a blip, about 5 a.m. On Friday of that week. Got a few hours sleep, picked my older brother up from the airport, and then we all converged on the hospital probably about midday. And my younger brother still lives in the area. And then we had the day there in the room as a family. My father's been non-communicative for a long time, but we were all there. And Friday evening, he passed. Once again, we were all there for him. And that's just been it's not been easy to deal with. And I was around there for a few more days with my family, dealing with things around the house and starting to plan a memorial service, which is going to happen in early March. So we're going to all head back there. Of course, I had to head back here to Tennessee as soon as I could. I drove back on Wednesday. Got back here Wednesday night of that week. Um, because my wife still very much in mourning, um, and dealing with the kids alone. So I understood that I had to get back, um, and so things just haven't been easy. Uh, and this past weekend, we it was like I completely rained out from doing any work. You might ask, why am I going to work on the cars? Not why not just take care of myself? I do consider this a form of self care. Um, it's I really do uh, get a lot out of the process of fixing up a car, taking something that somebody else considers junk and really bringing it back to a point where it's usable. I've always just gotten a lot personally out of that. So, um, so yeah, we lost two people in this space of a week and a half, and that's tough. It's been tough on everybody, um, and so we're getting by though. You can see behind me we got some snow overnight. The weather's not too bad today. The ground is still a bit damp. It's in the mid 30s, but I can get some stuff done. I got a few things I want to do on the Volvo, and then hopefully I can get back to working on the Mercedes a little later. Um, so I'm going to leave you with a couple of pictures of my father. Some people have asked me at random times over the years, did my father teach me to work on cars? And the answer is no. He was very much a hands-on DIY person. Worked with his hands his whole life. Had a many decades long career as an antique furniture upholsterer. But and he changed his own oil and did little basics on the car, but never major repairs. He completely approved of me taking this on as a hobby, something I do, but it's not something I really learned from him, except for just the basics to get me started, working with basic hand tools, doing oil changes, and for me it all snowballed from there. So I'm gonna leave you with two pictures. The first is him. Uh, this was actually the entrance to a junkyard. This was in the early 2000s. So the picture's 20 to 25 years old, and they had this row of nice Mercedes kind of lined up. Uh, as I recall, I think the junkyard owner was considered those cars too good to go into the yard, so they were saving them either to fix up for their family or to resell. I don't remember the full details, but those cars weren't going into the yard, and it was a nice lineup. Um, the second picture is my father with his Mercedes 240D. He bought that car new in 1980 and kept it through 2019. And really, for most of that car's life, it looked mint. Unfortunately, near the end there, rust had in the last few years, rust had gotten a hold of it and accelerated faster than that car rusted out faster than I've ever seen a car rust out. So there were some severe rust issues, and then developed some severe fluid leaks right near the end. And I wasn't living at home, so I couldn't really take a look at it. My parents ended up selling it as a parts car, and even though I would have gladly given them whatever they wanted for it, and I would have done a Mercedes diesel guy style restoration, but restoration, but it just wasn't meant to be. But he had that car a long time. He loved the car, but at the end, he was very much done with it. It was just too hard for him to keep up with it, and I think he kind of soured on it right near the end. So, um, thanks for all for watching this. I know this has been just kind of a big brain dump. I can't seem to get this video lower than whatever 9 minutes. So I think that's what it is for all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll be posting videos in the near future. So thank you.